Hello everyone, wherever you are. I know we have participants joining us from all around the world, and as we are being our session, it would be wonderful for us to know who is joining us today and from where. So I invite you to use the chat function to please share with us the location and perhaps also the organization you're coming from, so we can build a bit more of the community we seek to support today. Welcome to the INQAAHE Talks, a series of webinars that we at INQAAHE aim to connect our membership with the broader international higher education and quality assurance community to discuss today's pressing issues. If you're not yet familiar with our organization, INQAAHE is the International Network for Quality Assurance Agencies in Higher Education, a worldwide association of more than 300 organizations active in the theory and practice of quality assurance. INQAAHE brings together QA agencies and higher education institutions and practitioners from all over the globe. We provide capacity building opportunities, conduct research on quality assurance, and give QA agencies the chance to be reviewed against the international standards and guidelines. And we also convince major gatherings on quality assurance, both forums and conferences. My name is Fabrice Inard, and I'm the CEO of INQAAHE. And today it's my great pleasure to share this INQAAHE Talk session titled Small States, Strong Quality. Small states, whether island nations surrounded by vast oceans or landlocked countries navigating global connections without direct access to the sea, share a unique position in higher education. While there is no a single universally accepted definition, small states are often understood as countries with modest populations, limited physical size, and distinctive economic and social context. Yet being small doesn't mean being marginal. On the contrary, small states are laboratories of resilience and innovation where education systems must adapt quickly to shifting global pressures such as skilled migration, international recognition of qualifications, or growing presence of cross-border providers. Quality assurance in higher education is therefore not just a regulatory task in small states and for institutions operating in these small states. It's a strategic lever for national development, international credibility, and also regional cooperation. This webinar, Small States Strong Quality, will explore how small states and institutions located in these small states are building robust, trusted, and forward-looking quality assurance systems, and how regional and international cooperation can amplify their impact. Let me briefly introduce our panelists. So today, from the Caribbean to the Indian Ocean and from the Himalayas to Southern Africa, our panel today embodies the diversity and strength of small states in higher education and higher education institutions operating in small states. We have Fiona Ernesta, the CEO of the Seychelles Qualification Authority. Fiona leads actually the national body that oversees quality assurance accreditation and the country's qualification framework in Seychelles. Pamela Dottin is a senior program officer at the University of the West Indies, which is a unique regional university serving more than 17 countries across the Caribbean. Gwenzang Dorji is the senior program officer at the Higher Education Quality Council of Bhutan, which ensures that all Bhutanese universities and colleges maintain strong quality assurance systems. And then Mboni Dlamini is the executive secretary of the Eswatini Qualifications Authority, who oversees Eswatini's qualification systems, ensuring that learning and training are recognized and collecting to labor market. Before handing over to our esteemed panel, just a few words about housekeeping. We have muted all your microphones to help with the smooth running of the event, and your cameras have been also disabled, but we are very keen to hear from you. So they're indeed intended as interactive webinars. So you can use the QA functions to ask questions and inform discussions at any time. Also, the webinar will be recorded and it will be made available for free access after the event. So we will start with a set of question and answers with our four panelists, and then we will have a Q&A session. So please use the chat function to ask a question or provide a comments that I will pick some of them and we will discuss after the discussion that should last about 30 minutes with our panelists. My first question relates to the nature and of the quality assurance system. What does fit for purpose quality assurance look like in your context, and how does it balance internal capacity with international expectations? What does it look like? I ask Fiona to start off, please, Fiona.
Thank you, Fabrice. Hello, everyone. Pleased to be with you. Now, for Seychelles, fit for purpose quality assurance means a system that is responsive to our unique context, while still credible and comparable internationally. For us, it starts with ensuring that programs truly meet learners' needs and remain relevant to the labor market. This means actively involving stakeholders, industry representatives, and so on, in program design and review, and making sure provision aligns with our national development strategy. Our approach includes quality assuring both institutions and programs through periodic reviews. Quality assurance is not a one-off exercise. It's embedded at various stages of the accreditation process. Clear laws and regulations safeguard provider accountability, and we place strong emphasis on capacity building for all stakeholders so they can meet and maintain standards. International comparability is also vital. We take account of recognized tools, follow global best practices, and benchmark against regional and continental frameworks, such as the SADC qualifications framework and the African Continental Qualifications Framework. Our standards and guidelines for and the conduct of institutional and program accreditation take account of the guidelines of good practice of the International Network for Quality Assurance Agencies in Higher Education, INQAAHE, and the African Standards and Guidelines for Quality Assurance in Higher Education, ESG/QA. This not only enhances credibility, but also facilitates regional and international mobility for learners and graduates. On the question of monitoring on the question of importing large country QA models, the reality for a small state is that we may not have the resources to adopt them wholesale, and it is, of course, not desirable. But rather than seeing this as a risk, we see an opportunity to take the best elements of established systems, adapt them to our realities, and ensure our QA processes remain practical, proportionate, and sustainable, while keeping Seychelles firmly connected to international standards. Ultimately, fit-for-purpose quality assurance in the context of Seychelles, focusing on ensuring that processes, products, and services meet the specific needs and context of our country. It is not about adopting a one-size-fits-all approach, but about tailoring quality assurance efforts to our country's unique circumstances, resources, and priorities. Our QA is designed to address our specific needs. Thus, we adopt QA strategies that are practical and resource efficient. High emphasis is placed on capacity building to develop expertise in QA, both at institution and at QA agency level. We are continually learning from our experience and the good practices of other countries and adjusting our QA strategies to meet our changing and evolving needs. Finally, fit-for-purpose quality assurance in Seychelles is also about ensuring our learners can compete anywhere in the world without losing sight of who we are and what makes our system work at home. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Fiona. Thank you. Thank you for keeping the time also. I would like to thank you, Fiona. I would like to pass over to Pamela from the University of the West Indies, so in the institutional vision now. Please, Pamela.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chair. Good day to the participants. So as an institution, fitness for purpose means several things to us. And it really takes its genesis from our quality policy, which I want to start by defining what it means for us before I go into how we actually use it. So at the university, it's really the ability to fulfill its stated objectives and mission at both the institutional and program level. So we're looking at fitness for purpose from two levels, as an institution holistically and as programs. It is concerned with assessing an institution or a program against indicators and standards derived from our basic mission and stated objectives. So every few years, the University of the West Indies goes through a strategic planning process where we articulate or revise our mission if we want to, and we set key strategic objectives. And those things are the foundation of our fitness for purpose. In other words, we're looking to see whether or not we're doing what we say we will do. So every program that is developed within the University of the West Indies have a stated objective. So we're looking to see if we're doing that. But we have some processes that come before that. So for example, when we're thinking of a new program, or a new program is to be developed, we conduct a needs analysis. We're looking to see what is needed in the environment. We look at market trends. We look to see where the market is taking us. We cost those programs. We look to see whether or not we have the resources, be it financial, be it educational, because we have to teach this program. So we must have the persons with the prerequisite qualifications and experience to teach. We look at our library resources, be it physical resources or electronic resources. They too must be fit for what we're looking to teach. So we're looking at capacity holistically to see whether or not our internal capacity meets what we need to develop a program. So we're assessing the market. We're looking at where the market is going from a local perspective. Now we're a regional entity in 17 countries. So we look locally, we look regionally, and then we look internationally. So we're going to be benchmarking our programs against what is happening in the environment locally, regionally, and internationally. And so with all of that, we're looking at our capacity. We also have several committees that support this structure. And so we have a committee we call the Academic Quality Assurance Committee, which looks at our undergraduate programs and when the program proposal comes through, we're looking to see whether it's meeting the guidelines already established. We have a similar committee called the Campus Committee for Graduate Studies and Research, which does a similar thing for our graduate programs. And then we have our overarching boards, which approve these programs. So at every level, and then one of the things we do, because we are a regional institution, we have some cross-campus consultation. So we're having other persons from other campuses look at these proposals to see whether or not they are fit for purpose, to see whether or not we are addressing all the needs of the stakeholders. So we take a multi-pronged approach to how we look at fitness for purpose. And our intention always is to meet the requirements of our internal and external stakeholders to ensure that we prepare our students to fit into the world of work or research, both locally, regionally, and internationally. And a little later, I will speak a little more about our other internal processes, but I want to stop there for the moment. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pamela. Thank you very much. We have just before passing over to Modi, we have a short description of the university and also of the country on the website. Maybe Secretariat, can you share the link where we have the bios of the speakers? So we decided to go directly to the discussions and not wasting time for the presentation. But you have that. You know, at a glance. Thank you very much, Pamela. Can we go now to Eswatini and asking Boni to take the floor?
Thank you, Fabrice. Thank you, colleagues. Good day, everyone. It's always difficult to talk when some people have already spoken because they have taken almost everything. Yeah, but the question on fit for purpose, I think for us, it's always important to start probably looking at the role of higher education in development, because that is basically what is at the center of the QA function. In our case, we are looking at the contribution of higher education in development, because we are aware that higher education is actually contributing the skills for all our sectors, economic sectors and social sectors. So we are looking at quality assurance as a tool or as a very important process for us to get credible graduates who will be able to contribute to the production of the country. The productivity, in fact, is affecting all our productive sectors. So we want to reduce unemployment because currently our youth unemployment is sitting at 58%, which is a very high percentage, of course, a very high rate. So our aim in quality assurance is to align the qualifications with what industry needs so that we reduce unemployment. We also reduce the skills mismatches because this is also very, very high. We are producing, as institutions, we are producing a basket of competencies which are not in line with what industry needs. So our aim is to align what we produce as institutions, as the education sector, with what the industry is treasuring, what industry requires. So that is very, very important to us. And the recognition that higher education is very key for development. It is actually keeping us, going in all the processes. In fact, we have, in terms of the systems that we have two levels of quality assurance. We have program accreditation. We have institutional registration as well. So in both cases, in both layers, we conduct assessments to ascertain the credibility of institutions for them to be able to register and to look at the credibility of programs, look at the admissibility of the content, the programs that are being delivered to our learners. The aim being to align all this to what industry needs, because at the end of the day, we want to produce people who are competent. We want to produce graduates who are also able to, start their own businesses, because we are not only looking at employment only, we are also looking at self-employment. We are on the second part of the question. We are always trying to look at this in alignment with international guidelines, particularly the ASG, the African Standards and Guidelines. In everything that we do, in framing or developing our qualifications or quality assurance framework, we are always aligning to the African Standards and Guidelines, because we are looking at that as a tool that will keep our processes in sync with what is happening in the rest of the world. So that is basically what we do. And of course, we are very active in participating in platforms and workshops so that we keep our capacity in check and in line with the rest of the world, particularly the INQAAHE conferences. I think we have attended quite a number of these. We are attending the SADC platforms that are always available, the African Continental Framework platforms that are provided to us. So it is keeping us in check in terms of what we are providing as a country. Thank you. May I stop there because of time?
Yeah, thank you very much, Bonnie. Yes, thank you. Thank you. And don't worry, we will rotate. You will start or terminate earlier. Thank you, Bonnie. And now we go to the Himalayas with Gwenzang from Bhutan. Please, Gwenzang.
Hello. It is good evening from the Himalayan Kingdom, Bhutan. It's quite getting dark now. Fit for purpose of quality assurance in the context of Bhutan would mean contextual relevance, flexibility, and value-driven. And institutional accreditation is one of the core mandates of the council, and which is just 10 years old. We are a very young system. And our accreditation framework has evolved through several rounds of revisions shaped by inputs from our HEIs and relevant stakeholders, aligning with the international standards. However, being pilot tested with few institutions before implementation. What we follow here is rather than the wholesale adoption of QA models of large countries, we're a little cautious here. We follow adapt rather than adopt approach. And in addition to that, we incorporate our own values and principles, making it contextualizing, contextual relevance, while at the same time, without losing the essence of global practices. While as a small country, we refer the QA models of large countries as a reference points, not as reading books, I would say. This is because this approach is implemented to avoid the over complexity and resource strain. Second, to avoid the misalignment with the local priorities. And thirdly, to avoid the loss of flexibility. On the other hand, I'm also proud to share here that we now have started including at least a minimum of 2 international accesses into our, reviewers into our national pool of reviewers in every accreditation cycle. And we are also in the process of transitioning from manual submissions to online accreditation management system. And looking ahead, we are in the initial phase of piloting the use of AI to review self-assessment reports, benchmarking accuracy, reliability, and consistency against human assessments. So in summary, what I would like to say is that QA models designed for scale and then complexity could somehow unintentionally create, administrative burden without delivering the proportional quality gains in small states. That's why our approach of adaptation rather than adoption is a safeguard. It basically, in a sense, gives the sense of international practices while it realigns with our own local priorities and needs. Therefore, our fit for purpose QA design I would like to say is it is locally rooted, but globally aligned. Thank you, Mr. Favis.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Gwenzang. Thank you so much. I would like to address the second question and remind you that you can use the chat box to raise your questions along the presentations. The second question will probably respond to a question raised by Sophie from France on the objectivity, neutrality of QA systems within small states. So my question is, what mechanisms can small states and institutions operating in small states implement to ensure the objectivity and also the legitimacy of the QA process, given the risks of conflict of interests? Could I ask Pamela from the University of the West Indies to start?
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chair. So at the University of the West Indies, we have an internal quality assurance mechanism. And we have a unit called the Quality Assurance Unit, which has an officer assigned to each campus. And then we have one officer assigned to graduate studies and research. And we do a number of things, including the quality assurance review process. But what we do to mitigate the likelihood of conflict in our quality assurance review process, we take a multi-pronged approach. First, we have a quality assurance review process, which involves the use of an international academic, or if we're looking at a research entity, an international researcher. And this person must be discipline specific to the discipline or the program being reviewed. Then, because we're a regional institution, we will have a discipline person, one of the persons in the same discipline from another campus, because we're benchmarking. So we're benchmarking internationally, we're benchmarking against ourselves. And then we have a local professional in the area as well. And that local professional, in some instances, will come from the same country. But for example, we have a global campus that is based in 17 countries, and that person can come from any of the 17 countries. And if we happen to be reviewing an online program, we will have an online expert for the discipline as well. And these persons are required to sign a conflict of interest statement as well, saying that they have not been involved with the University of the West Indies for the last 2 or 3 years. And we go through things in that statement. For example, I have not in the past 3 years conducted any business on behalf of the university or been engaged in any kind of assignment or employment with the university. And it also says I'm not presently conducting any business on behalf of the university, nor am I engaged in any assignment. So what we're doing is that we're ensuring that the persons that we get to come in, and when I say come in, I really now mean virtually, because before we used to do it as a face-to-face entity. So our department or entity being reviewed does a self-assessment report. That report goes to the team. The team then meets with a cross-section of stakeholders. And what they're doing is that they're looking to verify the self-assessment process. But the main thing that we use is our quality assurance review process. We have our conflict of interest. The officers from the quality assurance unit are the persons who are in contact with the review team members. We ask that there's no personal contact between the faculty or the department being reviewed. And this is one of the ways that we seek to ensure the integrity of our programming and to reduce the conflict of interest as well. We appreciate, however, that as a internationally recognized institution, that our colleagues will have I want to say colleagues in their discipline that they will know internationally. But because of the conflict of interest statement, where the person must not have been in contact with you or working with us or so on for 3 years, we think that that gives almost a good balance for us between the need for integrity and the balance of conflict of interest. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Pamela. Yeah, very straightforward and articulate. Thank you very much. Thank you. Go to the session now with Fiona. I hope you noticed that we have a very well gender balanced panel with the women and women.
Thank you, Chair. So in a small state context like Seychelles, where professional and personal networks often overlap, safeguarding the objectivity and legitimacy of quality assurance processes is essential. One of the most important mechanisms that we use is the establishment of transparent policies and procedures that are publicly available and have clear legal standing through our acts and our INQAAHE regulations. And this includes a clear policy that requires reviewers to disclose any potential conflicts of interest. So we have a form like with my colleague Pamela, and they must not have had any interest in a particular institution for the last 3 years. And they are required as well, if they've had any doings with the institution, to recuse themselves from decisions where such conflicts exist. At the level of institutions as well, there is a QA section, but this section operates independently of the institution. And this to ensure this, again, this objectivity and legitimacy. We have peer evaluation as well, which can strengthen objectivity. By encouraging institutions to learn from and review each other, we not only promote a culture of continuous improvement, but also broaden the perspective beyond a single reviewer or agency. In our context, we also seek to engage external reviewers from other countries for institutional accreditation, albeit this is not often because of cost, to provide an unbiased perspective and conduct objective reviews. We also seek to promote transparent governance by ensuring that quality assurance processes, decision-making, and audit findings are documented to promote transparency and accountability. And we have plans to make all these QA processes publicly accessible. We have developed manuals that provide detailed, clearly defined, and standardized QA processes, providing a consistent framework for quality assessment. We collaborate with regional and international QA bodies, and in the process, learn from their best practices, including in terms of conflict of interest mitigation strategies. Finally, in a small state, legitimacy comes not from size, but from the trust we build through transparency, independence, and accountability at every stage of the QA process. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Fiona. Thank you. Okay. I will ask Bonnie from Eswatini, please.
Thank you, Fabrice. It's a very difficult question, particularly when you think of small states, the number of professionals and the limited pool that we have in our countries. But I will mention 2 or 3 approaches that we use to ensure that there is objectivity as well as legitimacy in our QA processes. One is importing. We are relying much on importing people from outside the country. Clearly, there are limited number of people in certain areas, specific learning areas. So we are happy that we are located next to a big gun, South Africa. So we always, drive people, because it's easy even to drive from South Africa to Eswatini. So we always, transport people from South Africa to our country when we need certain skills and certain competencies in certain subject areas. So we are relying much on importing our subject matter experts. But we are also looking at training, because I think this is also enhancing objectivity as well as the legitimacy of the process. When your processes are transparent, when you are capacitating the reviewers themselves. So that is basically what we do as well. We place a lot of emphasis in capacitating reviewers before they go to the field, before they go to assessments. It's very, very important. They realize the importance of staying objective and staying impartial in these processes. We have also groomed a group of our people, the secretariat from the office, from the agency, to look at to have kind of expertise in terms of the QA processes. So they are half the time guiding the processes, and they are helping, because what normally happens is we just get ordinary lecturers who know nothing about quality assurance. So it is always important to capacitate them. And even during the course of the assessment, it is important to have a group of people who are competent in terms of quality assurance. That is how we have enhanced our processes. That is how we are retaining and we are sustaining objectivity as well as legitimacy of the processes. One other thing that I think is helping us is, sharing all the things, the documents, the QA framework, the guidelines, everything with the institutions. It becomes key, because they know exactly what you are gauging them against in terms of the standards, in terms of the assessment rubrics. They know exactly what to expect. They can even assess themselves to say we have scored this much under this standard, because you are transparent. You have shared all the processes, the assessment rubrics with them, and they are happy with the process. That is basically how we go around it. We are developing the capacity, most importantly. Thank you, Fabrice.
Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you so much. Thank you. And then I go to Quenzang.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Quenzang.
In Bhutan, the population is not even a million, and we just have 2 universities with a total of 19 higher education institutions. And we can make out like how interconnected we are, and ensuring the objectivity and legitimacy of the QA processes has been a constant challenge and priority for my council. However, we have certain mechanisms in place, some of which are resonated already through my earlier colleagues here. Firstly, the National Education Policy 2025 grants the legitimacy to the Council as the external quality assurance body in the country. Secondly, we have also transparent procedures in place, and the points that were already resonated in earlier session. By my earlier colleagues here. Third, we have independent reviewer selection, meaning the council independently selects the external reviews for the process. However, we do not ever include active faculties from our HEIs to reduce the peer bias. And we have also conflict of interest policies in establishment, including the robust terms of reference for the assessor, for the reviewers. We also follow a joint review process with a mix of national and our international reviewers. And finally, every document or policies or frameworks related to quality assurance has to undergo a clear impact assessment and pilot testing to ensure the practical relevance. So these are the certain mechanisms that we have in place to ensure the objectivity and the legitimacy of the QA process. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Gwenzang. Now it's the third question that we have, and you highlighted already this issue of how to have the same time staff who is very knowledgeable about quality assurance and ensuring a sustainable development of your agency. So the question is how small states or institutions operating in small states effectively develop and retain qualified quality assurance professionals despite limited resources and sometimes a small-sized talent pool. So it's about the staff development and also how to retain them. And I would like to ask how this has been envisaged in Eswatini with Dr. Boni.
Thank you very much, Fabrice. It's a question that is almost similar to the previous one. I think my response will not differ much from my previous response, particularly in retaining, because I think that's the most difficult one, retaining QA professionals. It's like all other, I would say key areas where people are being demanded everywhere in the world. So we have the same problem. We have quite a number of professionals leaving us for bigger countries, and it's a serious problem. And I think one of the key things that we are currently trying to do is to embed QA training in institutions. Now we are looking at various ways of embedding training in institutions so that even if we are losing people, but we are able to have enough pool to be able to do the work locally. So what we do is we are now exploring having a micro credential on QA training for people who are engaged, who can only be available during weekends, so that they are able to get training during weekends and during their off time. And we are also looking at having structured programs, quality assurance programs in universities, so that much as we will be losing people to other countries, we are able to have enough pool of people to be able to continue with the work. That is basically what we are exploring, because we are located next to a very big economy, South Africa. So quite a number of our people, not necessarily in QA, but in all other areas, are migrating to South Africa. So we should produce enough for us to be able to work as a country. We are also having partnerships with other entities, particularly in South Africa. We are working very closely with the entities in South Africa. So that again is actually helping us. Like I said, that we are importing most of our people as well from South Africa. So we are working in partnership with the entities in South Africa, and they can able to exchange. We are able to get expertise from our nearby country, and we are able to work in terms of fulfilling our mandate ourselves. Otherwise, it is a very difficult one. It is basically looking at all avenues to try to retain people, even looking at how you can create incentives for them to stay in Eswatini rather than preferring to go to outside the country. So it's a mixture of approaches that we are using to retain staff. Thanks, Fabrice.
Okay, thank you, Bonnie. Thank you very much. And we go to Bhutan with Gwenzang now.
I think retaining qualified QA professionals in small states is a big challenge, especially I would say in a civil service system with limited human capacity. And to me, as a QA professional, to be in part of an agency that assures quality and HAIs, it is a huge and challenging task. Our fifth king, in one of his speeches, he mentioned that you cannot give what you do not have. And as a QA professional at my level, sometimes I find some of the gaps and then the missing links in me, which would otherwise, accelerate the momentum to deliver the best outcome, I would say. And I genuinely think that QA professionals must have knowledge, skills, and competences of QA in themselves first, rather than trying to give or impart to the higher education, right? And for that matter, in our capacity, in our council, we have been trying to invest in continuous professional development, even if it is on a modest scale, through foundational courses and workshops and mentor arrangements. And also, I would like to suggest here, how about if we recognize to practice as QA professionals in other countries, I mean, among small states, these are the simple motivation I would say would actually boost the morale of QA professionals. But this is how we are doing in our context, even if it's on a modest scale. Thank you, Fabrice.
Thank you, Gwenzon. Oh, thank you. Let's go to the Seychelles now with Fiona. How do you operate to retain your professionals? Fiona, you're muted.
Sorry about this.
Right.
So for Seychelles, you can imagine, with a population which is currently at 122,000, what retaining qualified professionals mean. It is a real challenge because we have a limited talent pool, and we have resource constraints. But our starting point is what we do is we try to have a clear organizational hierarchy with well-defined roles, responsibilities, career pathways, so staff see opportunities for growth. Autonomy is also very important. Autonomy of the agency so that it can maneuver appropriately. So we manage our own budgets and operations. So this allows us the flexibility to invest in targeted professional development, competitive benefits, and innovative recruitment strategies. While financial incentives may be limited, we also use non-financial measures, which can be powerful as well. These include providing better work conditions. We are currently experimenting with flexible working arrangements and opportunities for staff to multi-role where appropriate. So for instance, a member of staff can simultaneously work as an evaluation officer and at the same time learn through being a program accreditation officer, for instance. This not only builds versatility, but it also deepens understanding of the education ecosystem at the same time. So capacity building is ongoing. regular training, participation in regional and international networks, mentorship programs, which can enhance expertise and keep staff motivated. We also need to consider as well leveraging technology, which can make QA work more efficient, reducing administrative burden and freeing professionals to focus on higher value tasks. Ultimately, retention in a small state context is about more than salary. It's about creating a professional environment where QA staff feel valued, empowered, and able to grow while making the most of every skill and resource available. It's about creating a positive and supportive work environment by defining clear roles, fostering teamwork, and promoting open communication, which we try to adopt. Thank you.
Thank you, Fiona. Thank you very much. Thank you. And we go to the West Indies with Pamela now.
Thank you very much. And I want to take us on a slightly different route because obviously I'm speaking from an institutional perspective, and you would have heard before that I would have spoken to the fact that we use external persons coming in. But I want to talk now more about how we develop the internal capacity of our, and for me, QA professionals is in inverted commas. So we have a process which we call the quality evaluation process. And this happens a year before a quality assurance process. And we use a co-evaluator structure. And both these persons are internal to the University of the West Indies. So one of those persons is the quality assurance officer from the quality assurance unit. But the other person, the co-evaluator, is a member of staff who's been trained as a co-evaluator. So we train a cadre of staff to assist us in the evaluation process. And this is very important. So our training is kind of intense, but one of the things that it does is that it helps our academics mainly to acquire a better understanding of the quality review process and of quality assurance in general, which they then use when their own department or entity is being reviewed. Because they've been part of the process, they get a better understanding that brings buy-in to the quality assurance review process, and certainly the support for quality. So the training builds on their own capacity as well. And so for us, we believe that we need to sell the importance of quality, the importance of quality assurance to our stakeholders, to our internal stakeholders. We need to have what we call quality champions. So when the quality policy was articulated, it was articulated with a support structure called quality champions, who are persons who are also interested in quality. So once again, quality assurance professionals in inverted commas, and they help us to support the whole gamut of quality at the University of the West Indies. So we have the buy-in, which then means that can help us, and it helps the university, it helps individuals to understand the importance of quality, to work towards the achievement of quality. And by extension, it helps the institution then to grow greater. So for us, the whole idea of limited QA professionals, we're not seeing QA professionals in the same way that an external quality assurance agency would see a QA professional. We see QA professionals, yes, as the quality assurance unit personnel, but we also recognize that quality is everyone's business. So for us, we want to instill that understanding of the importance of quality. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pamela. Thank you. Thank you. I invite participants to introduce themselves for those who joined lately. And if you could indicate the country and your organization, that could be great in order to keep track of you after this webinar. Thank you so much. We have 111 participants today from all over the world, the US, Chile, El Salvador, Bahrain, Oman, Mongolia, a lot of Europe, Spain, Germany, Poland, also Bahrain, Sri Lanka, Taiwan, and probably others that I cannot cite you all. You highlighted the need to be connected, to the rest of the world and specifically within your region. So the fourth question before we take the questions from the audience is about the regional collaboration. How can the regional collaboration strengthen quality assurance in small states? You have already highlighted some points. It could be shared quality assurance tools, it could be reviewers pools or joint training, but we would like probably to know a little bit more. And if I ask Wenzang from Bhutan to start off, please.
I think there are a lot to gain and a lot to benefit through regional collaboration for QA agencies and institutions in small states. For instance, we recently engaged in regional collaboration with ASEAN University Network Quality Assurance Office, and they facilitated us in getting international assessors from ASEAN region. And this partnership has actually enabled us to have more access to the larger pool of qualified reviewers. And so now uh, we are in the process of seeking two more ASEAN reviewers from from this office through this collaboration. And what we have noticed is that it enhances the diversity of experts, and then it provides a exposure to regional best practices. And we say the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And for us, this is a single step that we are taking to strengthen the credibility of our QA system when local assessor capability is so limited. The other benefit that I see here and what we have gained is participating in knowledge exchange and peer learning forums such as being a member of APQ and INQAAHE. We actively participate in conferences and forums. And I think for us, this has been a powerful mechanism for promoting knowledge exchange and then peer learning. And recently, we also attended the conference, INQAAHE conference in Japan, where one of the important theme was on QA and artificial intelligence. And there are a lot to gain from there too. We are also in the process of initiating a program called Capacity Building through UNESCO Chairs. And so we are in the process of initiating this program, and we were hopeful that it would strengthen our quality assurance, specifically in terms of building local expertise where the resources are limited. So having access to larger pool of qualified reviewers and participating in knowledge exchange forums and then capacity building through UNESCO chairs. These are some of the potential gains that we see in our context. Thank you.
Thank you, Quentin. Thank you very much. Can I ask Fiona to continue?
Thank you, Fabrice. Regional collaboration can be a game changer for small states. In our experience at the SQA, the pace and quality of our development have accelerated significantly, for instance, since engaging with the SADC Technical Committee on Certification and Accreditation. This kind of partnership has allowed us and keeps allowing us to tap into a wider pool of expertise. We benefit from shared tools and align with regional standards without duplicating effort. One concrete example is in the area of recognition of prior learning. Our RPS system was strengthened through collaboration with agencies such as the Mauritius Qualifications Authority, SAQA, Botswana Qualifications Authority. We've had study visits and exchanges, which have given us access to tested policies, operational insights, and practical tools, which we could adapt to our own context. Small states can also make huge gains by drawing on external reviewers from the region. This expands the talent pool, brings in fresh perspectives, and helps ensure independence and objectivity in QA processes, as we mentioned before. A regional pool of reviewers and specialists allows for more diverse and in-depth quality assessments than a single state could manage. A shared reviewer pool and standardized tools facilitate better monitoring and auditing processes, leading to more robust quality assurance. A collaboration enables the development and adoption of consistent quality standards and best practices across the region, which we have done, which is crucial for complex projects and consistent service delivery. With the scarcity of resources, pooling resources for training, tools, and expert review can be more cost-effective than each state in the region attempting to develop these capabilities independently. Beyond implementation, regional collaboration supports research and innovation, whether in developing new QA methodologies, benchmarking performance, very critical, or exploring emerging issues like micro-credentials, which we are doing a lot now with SCQF. Ultimately, for small states, regional cooperation is not just a supplement to national capacity. It is a multiplier, enabling us to achieve levels of quality assurance that would be impossible to sustain on our own.
Thank you very much, Fiona. Thank you. Then we can ask Pamela, as a representative of an institution.
Thank you. So for us, regional collaboration is key for the advancement of quality, particularly in small island states. We need to reach a stage where the accreditation and other relevant standards and the evaluator training is standardized or at least similar enough that trained evaluators can almost effortlessly make the transition. Further, we need to support more mutual recognition processes across our networks. That too would support the sharing of qualified evaluators. In fact, regional and extra-regional collaboration would be key for the advancements of quality and quality assurance in higher education. So I'm thinking of things like more MOUs among the external quality assurance agency, mutual recognitions among them. So if we are accredited by one entity, that's automatically accepted by the other. I'm also envisioning a more active role for the Caribbean Area Network for Quality Assurance in Tertiary Education as it relates to the training of evaluators and the creation of an evaluator pool by discipline and by expert. So for me, these are some of the things that will want some of the benefits of regional collaboration. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Pamela. Very clear. Bonnie, you already highlighted, your connections with the neighboring countries, but would you like to expand to the regional networks, the various networks that you have in Southern Africa, probably?
Thank you, Fabrice. Thank you very much. We are lucky with Fiona from Seychelles that we are part of SADC, the Southern African Development Community. It's about 13 countries in the SADC region. And of course, we are collaborating in quite a number of things, education and training as well. So the SADC block has a qualifications framework, because I think in the SADC region, we have deliberately made the qualifications central to the qualifications, to the quality assurance function. So being central, we are looking at the SADC qualifications framework very, very seriously. And as countries in the SADC region, we are all trying to reference our national qualifications frameworks to the regional one, because I will tell you something. We have a project that is currently ongoing where we are implementing the SADC qualifications framework at in three levels. One, it is quality assurance itself. We are looking all the variables that are key for quality assurance in the region. And we have developed, I would say, a blueprint of how quality assurance should look like in the region. So we have the quality assurance guidelines, the SADC quality assurance guidelines, which are basically key for us all in the SADC region, because we are always aligning with that instrument. We are also executing under the SADC qualifications framework other important tasks, such as the referencing of our qualifications framework. This is also a very important activity in the SADC region, because we can already see where we are as countries in terms of all the key variables, including quality assurance itself. So we are able to gauge ourselves against the benchmark at SADC level to say we are actually envisaging the quality assurance process to be like this. So you are always, as a country, benchmarking yourself and seeing where your shortfalls are. So it is a very important, I would say, a very important tool in the SADC region, and we seem to be coming together as a region, and we are always benchmarking with each other, and we are gaining quite a lot from such interactions. Another contribution probably is coming from the ACQF, the African Continental Qualifications Framework. That is also a framework for the continent now, and it is also placing quality assurance at the center. So it is a very important platform as well. We are part of the platform, and we are benefiting immensely from the capacity building platforms that are arranged under that arrangement. And we are looking at actually expanding the networks, so that we are also including other continents, not necessarily Africa. So I would say these networks, these collaborations have a pull effect on what is happening at country level, in terms of qualification frameworks, in terms of quality assurance, in terms of all the processes that are ensuring quality in terms of higher education. These networks, the collaborations, are having a pull effect at national level. Thank you, Fabrice.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Boni. Thanks so much, dear colleagues. So it's yes, we're a little bit behind schedule, but it's 3 p.m. here in France, and I will now take a few questions and kindly invite our experts to respond. So as agreed, there is no need for all four of you to answer, but only those who feel they have a relevant insight to share with the participants. There is a question that I like very much. It's more of a comment, but then it's a question. Is do you think that having a system operating within a small state has also lots of advantages? We talk a lot about challenges, but one participant asked, after all, could we say that small is beautiful, meaning that you can also have access, maybe easier, to Ministry of Higher Education, to other stakeholders. So you have assets that large countries don't have. So I would like, I don't know who would like to pick up this. Just raise your hand and I give the floor. Bonnie? Yes.
Thank you, Fabrice. I think for us, I think we have seen a very huge advantage, a benefit for being small, because I think in terms of adapting our processes, it is very, very easy to adapt our processes. We are talking of a small number of institutions. We are talking a small number of players as well. So it is very easy to adapt processes. It is very easy as well to capacitate, because I think what is important as well in this line of activity is capacitation. People have to be capacitated. What exactly is happening? Why are you doing it? So I've seen that when you are a small state, it is very easy to get the message across, and it is very easy to respond to the various concerns coming from different pockets of the country. It is really easy. So I think for me, I've seen an advantage in being small rather than big countries which are having difficulties convincing the different. In fact, for us, it's even much better because it's just one tribe. It is only Swazis here who are living in Eswatini, and they speak only one language, Isiswati. So it is really easy to get things across and to get people to adapt. Thank you, Fabrice.
Okay, thank you very much. Fiona, thank you, Moby. Thank you, Bonnie.
Thank you.
Fiona, is
Yeah,
small beautiful? Is small
okay.
beautiful? Mm.
Yeah, for us, small is beautiful a lot of times. So I want to take the perspective of stakeholder engagement. It is very easy because population is small. So we get the buy-in from stakeholders. We do not have many institutions, therefore it's very easy, as Mbani has mentioned, for capacity building, but also to keep in regular contact with institutions so that, you know, if there is a crisis, there are queries, things like that, we can communicate very quickly with the institution and provide the support, the guidance that is required. We have a tradition also that whenever we develop a document, we always call in stakeholders and institutions. And with a small country, this is very easy. So you can have 1, 2, 3 meetings and then you are done. Everybody has had their input, which makes it easy. So that's the angle I wanted to focus on.
Okay, great. Okay, picking up another question is about the capacity of the quality assurance system in small states to address the employer's needs. Like in a small country, industries are by essence limited. So how do you make sure that academic programs, for instance, stay relevant to employers and support graduate employability? As a Q agency or as an institution, when you have specific mechanism to assess and to sustain this kind of alignment, which is also challenging in major countries, but you know has specificities in small countries. Who would like to take this? Maybe from the institution. I see Pamela smiling.
Thank you. Yes, thank you very much. So, as I would have noted earlier, we have a quality assurance review process that happens every 5 years. I don't think I would have said the 5 years, but it happens every 5 years. And at that time, the entity to be reviewed, looking at a program or a discipline, conducts a self-assessment of that discipline and they're looking to see what is fit for purpose and so on and so forth. As part of the process, when we get the review team virtually, they meet with a cross section of stakeholders, including our students, the graduates of the program, employers of graduates, and so on and so forth. And as part of that interview process, or as a result of that interview process, they write a report, a team's report, which talks about what they found and it makes recommendations for the improvement of the program. So one of the things that happens is that they then speak to, and because remember, I would have noted that we have a local professional, we have an international academic, but we have someone working in the environment as well. All these persons then in that report make recommendations for the improvement of the program, of the learning outcomes, of the content of the program, so that the program is kept relevant. We often also have our end of course evaluations and so on. So we have a number of mechanisms, but our major mechanism once the program is running is our quality assurance review process. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Pamela. Thank you.
Uh,
Fiona?
Yeah, if I may add to what Pamela has said, we have these processes as well, but we also have this, what we call a job analysis workshop, where we invite the industry, the stakeholders, so that together they can identify the competencies that will be required to ensure that the programs remain relevant. We do this when we develop a new program, but also when we review existing programs. Thank you.
Excellent. If I may add, because I have a very interesting comment by Isaac from Andorra, and he says that responding on behalf of small European countries such as Malta, Montenegro, Cyprus, Iceland, and Andorra, that the communication with stakeholders is often a key advantage in small countries. And thanks to the easier interaction between government, students, employers, and higher education institutions, and they truly believe that it facilitates getting things done more efficiently. That's to be pointed out. We have a question related to AI, which is a hot topic. But I think a couple of you highlighted the use of AI in quality assurance. So, do you think using artificial intelligence presents some advantages specifically for small countries? And if so, could you reflect your experience on this? That would be great. I don't know if that's Quenzang. Was it you who pointed this out?
Um, we are in the initial phase of piloting the use of AI in reviewing the self-assessment reports.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are seeing how AI-based evaluations can be compared to human-based assessment in terms of accuracy, reliability, and consistency. And uh, the logic behind of initiating this pilot study is uh, given the resource constraint we have, and we're also looking at the cost, effectiveness. And what we're looking at is how AI can help us to reduce the cost in the budget. For
Mm.
example, for one institutional accreditation exercise, we involve 5 reviewers, including one international reviewer, and it's I would say it's a huge amount of budget that we invest. And then given the number of days taken, including the site visit, so in a way, for one HEI, the cost would be huge for a country like
Yeah.
us. And what
Mm.
we are looking at is what if the final result would indicate that the number of assessors get reduced,
Mm-hmm.
whereby the cost gets down. And most
Understand.
importantly, we're also seeing where human in the loop approach can be applied, where actually the human oversight, the human, human reviews are required. So in these aspects, we are trying to see, and we're really happy to share our findings with the world. Thank
Mm.
you, Mr. Travis.
Thank you, Quenzang. Thank you very much. I saw Pamela's hand. No, you raise your hand. That's down. Would you like to take the floor? Thank you, Quenzang.
Yeah, yes, Chair. And I want to approach AI a little differently, if I may. I want to suggest, particularly to external quality assurance agencies and institutions, that we do have to embrace AI, but we need policies to govern the use of AI. We need to ensure that the academic integrity of processes are protected. And speaking now to both, we need to ensure, when I speak about academic integrity, that the students who are actually being awarded certification are actually the persons completing the work. So, as much as I believe that we must embrace the advances that artificial intelligence certainly provides, we need to do that cautiously, being guided. So we need to have policies. We need to have our external quality assurance agencies step up as well to provide those policies, because the institutions are providing policies to govern what they do. But the external quality assurance agencies need to recognize that AI is not just does not just have the potential for benefit, it also has the potential for much harm to academic integrity. Thank you.
Thank you, Pamela. Dear colleagues, it's a 3:15 here in France, and we still have 15 minutes left. So I'm sorry because we have very good questions raised, but we won't have to address them on the how to measure impact of QA in small states, or how could we adapt international quality assurance frameworks to the national specificities, how to best engage all the stakeholders. I mean, quite a lot. But when we prepared this webinar, we also wanted with our dear experts to have some takeaways for you, and I would like to invite each of the speaker to share a very brief closing comment, and if you had one recommendation on quality assurance in small states or operating in small states addressed either to governments or regional organizations or to networks, what would it be? And I will start with Fiona. They had questions in advance. Yes.
Thank you, Fabrice. Right. My closing message is that governments must fully understand the strategic importance of quality assurance and afford quality assurance agencies, I'm speaking from the point of view of an agency now, the status, authority, and resourcing they deserve. Without this recognition, our ability to uphold standards, support institutions, and protect learners is compromised. Autonomy is also essential. QA agencies must be empowered to manage their own budgets, operations, and must operate independently of ministries and retain whatever revenue they generate so that they can grow. This autonomy will enable the agency to innovate, maintain transparency, and strengthen credibility. It also facilitates deeper collaboration and technical support from local, regional, and international stakeholders because partners know that they are working with a professional, impartial, and well-resourced body. With this independence, we can invest in our people, developing and retaining skilled QA professionals through targeted training, non-financial incentives, and smarter use of technology. We have shown that when QA is fit for purpose, grounded in our national realities, and benchmarked internationally, it can deliver both local relevance and global recognition. And we know that regional cooperation through shared reviewer pools, joint training, and exchanges amplifies what we can achieve many times over. So my single recommendation is this: governments, regional bodies, international networks must actively safeguard the autonomy of QA agencies in small states, granting them the budgetary control and operational independence needed to innovate, collaborate, and uphold the highest standards of quality assurance. If we get that right, our learners will not just meet national needs, they will thrive anywhere in the world. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Fiona. Thank you very much. Thank you. Pamela.
Thank you. I want to begin by noting that effective internal quality assurance is key to the development of quality assurance in small states. We can have effective external quality assurance systems and mechanisms and agencies, but without the internal within the institution, and without the buy-in of the institution, those systems will be ineffective. With that being said, I want to make two recommendations. One, external quality assurance agencies in small states must develop a mechanism to support the institutional accreditation as an entity for multi-location institutions such as the University of the West Indies, which currently has to seek institutional accreditation as campuses as opposed to one entity, which it is. Secondly, external quality assurance agencies in small states should urgently begin to address the matter of generic artificial intelligence and its potential risks, both positive and negative, on academic integrity. Thank you for listening.
Okay. Thank you, Pamela. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Bodhi, please.
Thank you, Chair. I think I will go back to what I started with to say higher education is playing a significant role in development of any country, not only Eswatini, but all countries are relying on higher education for the production of graduates, people who are credible, people who will contribute in their economy. So it is important to have a very strong higher education system, and we can only have a very strong higher education system if we have effective quality assurance mechanisms. So for me, quality assurance is actually impacting on the whole economy. It is not just looking at higher education institutions, it is also looking at the country as a whole in terms of its productive capacity. It is depending solely on quality assurance. So it is very, very key, therefore, to take quality assurance very seriously by our governments. Like Fiona said, I think there has to be dedicated effort to support all the people engaged in quality assurance. The whole ecosystem in terms of quality assurance has to be adequately supported. Two things that I would like to suggest. One is a framework for the interface with industry, because I think this has to be coordinated. We need to have a very clear framework on how, as quality assurance agencies, as education institutions are interfacing with industry, so that what we are producing is aligned to what industry is treasuring, because that is key. It is very, very key. So there should be a very coherent framework that we have, not just ad hoc consultation with the industry, but a coordinated way of aligning the needs and the competencies that are being required in the industry, in the workplace. Number two, it is capacity building. It's very important because this is a new paradigm. Quality assurance is a new paradigm for quite a number of small states. So we need to capacitate all role players in quality assurance, because some people, they do not know why things are happening the way they are happening. But it is important. It is upon us, it is upon government and all entities involved to capacitate all people who are involved in quality assurance, because this is very key. In fact, it is affecting us all.
Yes.
So it is important that we are all embracing the paradigm shift, and we are kept abreast of what is happening both in the region and globally. So it is important, like the platform that we are having currently. Thank you.
Thank you, Ronnie. And then we end up with Bhutan, often called the country of happiness. So Gwenzang, in that spirit, would you be your recommendation for keeping accreditors in small states happy in their work?
As a closing comment, I would like to say that while flexibility exists in QA agencies, in agencies and institutions in small states, which can be considered as a strength. However, the constraints and challenges sometimes outweigh disadvantage, I would say. And so as a result, the QA agencies and institutions in small states often face this paradox of being nimble but underpowered, I would say. And for that matter, quality assurance in small states actually demands innovative and collaborative approaches. And through partnerships and then targeted professional developments, we can strengthen the credibility of QA systems in small states, I would say. When it comes to recommendation, rather I would submit it as a suggestion. And my suggestion here has two key points. Firstly, what if INQAAHE were to roll out the quality assurance graduate program under the professional development scheme to the QA professionals of small states? And I think this will really build the strong foundation in quality assurance, I would say. The final key point that I would like to submit here is that what if INQAAHE can introduce a separate funding opportunity specifically for QA agencies and institutions in small states to apply for two types of grants. Again, capacity building grant and innovative research grant. I think it would significantly improve the chances of being selected. This is because under the current system, all the agencies, I would say all 300 and plus members of INQAAHE, when the window is open, they apply all together. Now, the probability of getting selected for QA agencies from small states is relatively low, I would say. Now, therefore, a separate funding opportunity dedicated to QA agencies and institutions in small states would provide, I would say, a more balanced access to the grants. So these are the two, key points under suggestion that I would like to submit. It has been a wonderful time to share the platform, and thank you for the attention. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Guanzhang, for the recommendations also for INQAAHE. I get the point. Yeah. So, dear colleagues, we have 5 minutes left. So we heard and we understood today that small states face unique challenges in quality assurance with limited resources and relatively small pool of experts. But to address this, we also observe that many other institutions or agencies, they adopt flexible multi-purpose QA systems and rely also on strong regional cooperation. And at the same time, they align their frameworks with international standards while tailoring them to local contexts. I noted also that all seek for enhanced capacity building in quality assurance and for all, not only for the agencies, but also institutions, ministries, and other stakeholders. But this balance between being aligned with the global expectations and tailored to local context enables the small states and institutions operating in small states to safeguard quality at home while building global trust in their higher education system. And perhaps a fitting motto for all of you working in such contexts could be small states and strong quality, which is the title of this webinar. So I would like to thank warmly our panelists for your valuable contributions to our conversation today. And on behalf of INQAAHE, thank you also to all the participants for joining the session, and your questions and comments have created an engaging session that we hope was valuable to you in your work. I would like to highlight here that this webinar is not a one-off, but actually we consider it just a beginning. We would like it to serve as the foundation for a community of practice on quality assurance in small states. And we hope to launch this community by October. So please see this event not as a one-off, but a first step in building something lasting together. So thank you for your attention, and I look forward to continuing this journey with you. Second thing is that let me remind you that we will be hosting another INQAAHE talk in the first week of October, specifically focusing on quality assurance and rankings. It should be on the 1st of October, but we will get the information. And in addition, our annual forum will take place this year in South Africa. So it's very near Eswatini, actually, from 4 to 6 February. And we warmly welcome your submissions. The deadline has been extended to the 30th of September, but it will be this forum will address the impacts of quality assurance, both internal and external, on higher education, so that Pamela from University of the West Indies can also apply for this. So thank you very much for your participation, dear experts, and also dear participants from all over the world. And as always, INQAAHE is here with you and for you. Please reach out and we keep in contact. Thank you very much. Have a very nice day.